These are not leaves. They are highly engineered biological kill rooms deployed by carnivorous plants to extract living flesh. These plants are masterfully designed to trap and digest unsuspecting prey. Each species has evolved unique, lethal mechanisms to survive in nutrient-poor environments. The sundew uses sticky tentacles to ensnare its prey, slowly consuming it. The Venus Flytrap uses a rapid snapping motion to capture its meal. The Waterwheel Plant is a rootless aquatic anomaly facing a severe physical problem. Chemical attractants diffuse instantly in water, leaving the organism with an impossible biological hurdle. It must secure erratic aquatic prey before they escape. The solution is a masterclass in localized hydrovacuum engineering. Highly sensitive trigger hairs mandate stimulation in rapid succession. Once the mechanical threshold is breached, a hydraulic snap closes the lobes in milliseconds. This ranks among the fastest biomechanical movements in the plant kingdom. The rapid closure forces immense water displacement. It operates like a pressurized pneumatic hatch, utilizing fluid dynamics to suck prey inside.
Before the jaws hermetically seal, the prey is trapped.
The raw efficiency of the capture is staggering to witness. The Cobra Lily is a terrestrial structure that forces flying insects to surrender their momentum. It lures insects into a liquid grave without ever actively snapping shut. Rising from the serpentine bogs of Northern California, this structure is not a leaf. It is a terminal, relying entirely on spatial disorientation. The biological hood features translucent patches that act as false windows. The target exhausts its battery, flying upward into solid plant tissue. Gravity inevitably claims the exhausted prey, pulling it down a shaft. This architecture acts as a mechanical ratchet, physically preventing upward movement. It functions identically to a casino designed with opaque exits. At the base of the shaft, the plant deploys no native digestive enzymes. It relies entirely on a highly concentrated microbiome of symbiotic bacteria.
They silently process armored beetles into harvestable nitrogen.
The Cape sundew, or Drosera capensis, uses these glistening tentacles to attract unsuspecting insects.
It is a fatal miscalculation.
The droplet is an industrial-grade viscoelastic polymer. The iridescent dragonfly, drawn by the vibrant colors, lands gently on the seemingly harmless leaf. But this plant has a defense mechanism.
Struggle is the precise catalyst for its own destruction.
Asymmetric cellular growth forces the entire leaf to slowly coil around the living prey.
The mechanism operates identically to a hydraulic vise.
The thick fluid physically clogs the breathing spiracles of the insect.
This fly has become completely immobilized by the plant's sticky surface, demonstrating total stillness.
As the insect asphyxiator, The plant deploys esterases and proteases to chemically liquefy its soft tissues. Stationary glue traps fail in environments with constant environmental disruption, like heavy rain. In the coastal bogs of the Carolinas, how does an organism prevent catastrophic energy bankruptcy?
The answer is an absolute biological timer.
Inside, microscopic trigger hairs act as a memory system requiring strict two-factor authentication. The spider brushes a single hair. An invisible countdown starts. A second mechanical stimulus must occur within a 20-second window. If the spider freezes, the timer resets. The organism simply waits. The moment the spider breaches the second hair, the trap deploys stored elastic energy. The leaf geometry violently flips from convex to concave in under 100 milliseconds.
The spring-loaded biometric vault initiates total lockdown.
Post-capture, the architecture transitions into an external stomach.
It hermetically seals around the captive to lock out ambient oxygen. We leave the bogs of the Carolinas and enter the peat swamps of Borneo. A lone foraging ant navigates the slick upper rim of a colossal botanical vault.
To access highly concentrated nectar, it must perform a lethal tightrope walk. It hangs completely upside down from two downward-pointing structural fangs. Balancing precariously over the exact center of an open abyss, gravity constantly pulls at it. A microscopic slip of a single claw breaks its traction. The ant drops.
It is a fraction of a second of absolute free fall into the biological reservoir below.
The fluid waiting at the bottom is not water. It is a viscoelastic, non-Newtonian polymer swamp.
As the ant hits the surface, panic sets in. It violently thrashes to swim.
This sudden explosion of movement is a fatal error. The mechanical drag of the liquid exponentially increases with every struggle. The pure survival instinct of the insect seals its own execution. Structural traps in biological syndicates require time and heavy maintenance. In the pine savannas of the southeastern United States, how does a predator rapidly subdue aggressive winged targets? The answer is targeted chemical warfare, a quiet poisoning. A wasp lands on the upper rim of the tube. It feeds on the abundant surface nectar. This bait is not merely a lure. It is laced with coneine, a potent alkaloid neurotoxin. Ingestion triggers immediate central nervous system depression. Unable to maintain lift, the wasp's wings slow, a desperate struggle against gravity until stillness takes hold. The rim of the trap features microscopic unidirectional ridges that become virtually frictionless when lubricated by ambient humidity. Stripped of mechanical control, the paralyzed insect simply slides down the slick funnel. Inside the shaft, rigid downward-angled hairs act as a mechanical non-return valve. Any desperate attempt at upward traction by the failing insect is physically blocked.
It drops to the base. There is no pool of water to drown in.
The tube is entirely dry. The kill relies strictly on neurotoxic paralysis.
Deep on the slopes of Mount Kinabalu rests a 3.5-liter biological cauldron. A mountain tree shrew cautiously approaches the rim.
One microscopic slip into the fluid below means a slow, inescapable dissolution.
The shrew steps onto the edge of the abyss, but the trap does not trigger.
The mammal is not prey. It is a biological contractor. The plant actively feeds the shrew, producing immense amounts of highly caloric exudate on its lid.
The transaction is brutally pragmatic. The plant provides premium fuel, and in return, the occupied shrew
Patients in passive biological vats are effective, but only if you have time. If an organism is locked in a brutal race for canopy sunlight, it requires an immediate, explosive influx of nutrients.
How does a standard 50-meter woody liana suddenly weaponize itself to slaughter thousands of insects?
Only to completely erase the evidence of its crimes once it reaches the sun.
A juvenile vine in the West African rainforest faces a severe survival problem.
The biological race for canopy sunlight requires vertical growth. It needs the concentrated nitrogen booster that its standard roots cannot extract from the leached soil. The organism executes a temporary, radical shift. It essentially becomes a transient serial killer. Prior to its rapid ascent, it alters its structure to produce specialized leaves, dripping with what appears to be shimmering nectar. It is, in reality, an industrial-grade adhesive. An entire swarm of insects descends on the false bait.
The moment they land, they are pinned.
Panic spreads across the leaves. Thousands of insects thrash violently against the resin to escape.
This sheer physical struggle is the exact mechanical trigger the vine requires.
The force of their panic tears open microscopic glands across the leaves.
Flooding the trapped, exhausted insects with highly corrosive digestive acids. The harder the swarm fights, the faster the acid flows.
Within hours, the frantic thrashing stops. The execution reduces thousands of bodies into a pure liquid nitrogen payload. The vine quietly drinks the graveyard. This extracted fuel hits the biological system like raw adrenaline. Fueled by the carnage, the vine triggers an explosive vertical ascent, violently pushing its way through the dark understory. Then comes the breakthrough. The vine breaches the high canopy. Unobstructed sunlight finally hits its upper structures.
The biological starvation crisis is over.
With its ultimate target achieved, the organism completely terminates its carnivorous mechanics. The lethal execution chambers wither and detach, dropping to the forest floor. The predatory hardware is jettisoned entirely. What remains in the canopy is a standard, sterile, woody vine, peacefully photosynthesizing in the sun. It is a completely harmless plant. quietly hiding the mass grave that funded its ascent.
The cycle of life continues in the forest. Nature is truly a marvel of engineering.
These plants are a testament to survival. Thank you for watching this journey into the world of carnivorous plants.